Middle-dee-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee. Hey, welcome to the Jetty Jet Show. How's everybody doing? It's Jet. And sorry guys, I am 10 minutes late. I wasn't almost ready. That was not on time at all, and I apologize. But thanks so much everybody for joining me today. And we have with us the wonderful, magnificent Sycra. Welcome, Sycra, to the Jetty Jet Show, buddy. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Cool. Pretty good. It's Sunday morning and it's too early for a show, but I want to try to do more morning shows. I thought it was fun the last time, and everybody's waiting so patiently. Thanks so much. My brain's not working properly, so what I'll do for you guys is we're going to pour a bowl of cereal. So get your bowl of cereal out so that your brain can work good. Cause we're gonna draw a little and we're gonna talk a little bit. You have your cereal, Sycra?
I don't have cereal, but I have imaginary cereal, I suppose. Plink, plink, plink. It's my cereal.
Oh, the smell of morning cereal and almond milk.
Oh, you drink that almond milk.
Almond milk doesn't taste that good, but we have it for me. I like coconut milk or soy milk.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of lactose intolerant, so I don't really drink.
Jet, you cannot be intolerant. That's not okay. You gotta learn to get along with all kinds of things.
I'm gonna eat cereal in the morning because it's a morning show, so we have cereal. Okay, I have my bite, and that's it. Because otherwise, my brain's not gonna be working. Yes, yes. What do we have? Uh-oh. Yeah. What do we have for you today? We have a good show. It's gonna be amazing. Amazing. We might learn a few things. We might get a few laughs. You might cry. Who knows? But in front of you, you guys see some work that I've been working on. We just start up a new one. It won't be about the drawing, but I just like. No, that's not how I do it. So while I do that, I'm gonna ask you, Sycra, did you catch the old stream? The last
The
one?
old stream? The
Yeah, the
last
last one I
stream?
did, yes.
I did indeed. You were
Mm,
you were talking with Ricardo and Costa
mm.
and I think Ross was there too,
Cool, yeah.
and some other people.
Perfect. So you were filled in on what we're today we're gonna do a little follow-up thing on from the last stream because I felt like it was a little confusing. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. So what I just did was I skipped a number because I felt like this is a good one to work on during the stream. Today I'll be working on the Android skull. Would you mind checking on the comments and saying
Sure. I'll check on the comments. I can do that.
just for now I'll be checking on them as well. But
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. All right. So a lot of people are saying hi, and they wish they could hang out with Cynics. Yeah, apparently he's a good guy to hang out with. You've met Cynics, right, Jet?
in person, yeah.
Yeah.
I visited and he was a very hospitable guy. Sh Showed us the beach. Good
The
guy.
beach. That's cool.
Okay. Thanks everyone who's been waiting all night for the show. I posted this, and John's not going to be joining us apparently. I mean, obviously. Um,
Oh, people are saying a lot of things. There's a guy, Christian Kraus, Krawczyzyk. I think that's a African name. Anyway, he asked you, Jet, Jet, how much money do you make in a year?
Oh, I
That
really
is
can't. I
not.
can't.
That's not
Yeah, I don't can't
question.
disclose it.
That
Enough,
is not. No.
enough to survive. Enough to survive. Let's just say enough to pay for school loans, two different school loans, cost of living, food, and entertainment, and
You
that's
you still have
enough for me.
two loans, two schools?
Yeah, I took one personal loan, and then I'm paying off the loan that my dad took out for me.
Okay. But they're to the same school, or did you go to two different
Same
schools?
school, yes, same school, separate loans,
Oh,
which is
Jesus.
kind of silly. I thought I was.
How much is the school that you went to?
For me it was 80,000. That was how much I came out with,
Oh,
which is I think
shoot.
yeah, that's what that's with discount because I took classes at City College and was able to transfer over a lot of units. I transferred over I think 30 units. That was their limit.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but you still had like another 80 units or so, or 100 something.
$80,000. Jeez.
Was not cheap. Uh, man, another bite of cereal, really quickly.
You know, if I went to the dollar store, I could buy 80,000 items.
Mm. If I went to a dollar store, I could buy 80,000 boxes of cereal. Maybe less.
Yeah, probably less.
Probably 70,000.
Cereal's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Super expensive. Like, I don't know. When I was growing up, we were allowed cereal once a year, and we had to make that box last. So we
No
would
way.
get like a big box of Cheerios, and then every day you get one O, and you have to be cheery because otherwise you won't get an O the next day.
So you were,
Uh,
so you're saying you were a bird.
I was a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm.
that's a lie story, though. That's not a real story.
Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, that's what I mean. That sounds like you're a bird. I mean, you only one O a day.
Nowadays.
I think birds get more O's than that.
Oh.
All right. So if you guys caught the last stream, we talked about art school and the industry and all that stuff, and I just want to clarify. I'm gonna say some things here. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it because a lot of people may be feeling some other things. It was all over the place. I'm just gonna try to condense everything in one so we can all be on the same page. But so I wrote this as a description for the last episode, but I said this was filled with a heated debate, but in the end we all ended up agreeing with each other. It was all because of a misunderstanding. Thanks everyone for sticking around. If you found that I was showing your work, the work of the people, the students, though that I was showing, and I'm gonna show them again. But if you guys found me showing you guys' work, it wasn't anything personal, but it was strictly directed at the malpractice of the school. I truly believe you too can be an amazing artist. I am angry at the fact that our school did not provide you with the tools or structure you needed to be the best you could be. I do, however, believe you must grasp certain elements before allowing to pass a class. So you are to blame as well. Like, it's not just the school. I do believe that you have to grasp certain elements before you are allowed to pass. You have to fight. Uh, yeah, you have to fight as long as it takes to pass. If you fail a class once, try again until you pass. That also relies on the teacher's ability to teach. If you're not able to learn from one teacher, try another approach. Study books, try a different teacher, try YouTube. But don't give up if art is your passion. If you fail a class, it doesn't mean you cannot improve. It means you work harder till you do improve, because taking a class 3 times and failing early is better than finishing with a degree and not knowing or having the skills you need. Your class level, your class level, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, should reflect, or first year, second year, whatever, should reflect your skills and not the time spent at the institution. It should reflect your skills and not the time spent. Your art degree should represent you that you've learned something, Just like your driver's license show that you are competent enough to drive. However, in an expensive school like ours, it isn't ready to just take this. I don't know what I just said. Um, it's not easy to just retake classes. What I'm saying, shit's expensive, so that's why I believe if you take a class 3 times, you should try a different approach. Don't give up like on art. Just try something different. But unless you're a millionaire, quit. Don't even worry about it. You just take it as many times as you want until you keep going. I mean, if the art school's for you, don't quit it. Quit the school. Okay, if not, then quit the school. Try something else. And for the same price, guess what? You could easily find a personal tutor. Because if you think about it, right, Sycra, $3,000 for a class once, you know what I mean? Once or twice a week.
You know what I would do for $3,000?
Huh.
You get any hole.
You get any hole?
You get any hole.
You get the holy bulk? What?
You pick which hole you want. $3,000, you got it.
Mm.
Mouth knows anything.
Sycra, we're talking about school. It's teaching.
Oh, school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was saying hole, I was referring to any kind of donut hole.
Oh, okay.
A mouth hole is the donut you put in your mouth. A nose hole is the donut you put in your nose. See, it makes more sense when you think of it that way.
Yeah, and art tutors are considered holes too. So for $3,000, you can get a pretty good hole.
Yeah. Art tutors are the biggest holes there are now.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel about that?
Well, I
mean,
take it much further, but I don't think.
For example, if somebody no, we don't need to take about it any further. If somebody were to give you $3,000, okay, if you had the option to choose for you,
Yeah.
okay, $3,000.
Yeah.
For a tutor who's specialized in something and is specialized to your needs, versus $3,000 to take a class at some school, but not specialized, divided amongst several students. Their attention is divided all amongst all the students. You know what I mean?
It's not even a question. This isn't even a choice. It's like, of course I would. I've done that before. It's not even like would you. It's just it wasn't 3,000. Like I took online courses at Schoolism, and they were like 999 at the time, and now they came up with this much more affordable option. But anyway, and I studied with a private teacher, and I probably spent somewhere around that, and I spent I think 800 with him, and I learned more than I did in a year of school. That's for sure.
And you spent 800?
Yeah.
That is so good. I mean, think about it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
I know, because if you think about it, it's better for that person too, the teacher, because the teachers don't get paid everything the student puts into the school. That doesn't all go to the teacher. I mean, most of it goes to just the overhead, keeping the school running, keeping the lights, all the staff, all the security, all the, there's so many things that go into, so many expenses, not to mention all the marketing the school pays for so they can get more people in. So I think private mentorship is definitely the way to go. If you have that option available to you.
Right. If you have, and I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. It's like if you offered me $3,000, I'm like, yeah, I'll tutor you. I mean, I think I can teach you more than what a class can teach you, because it's also it's a one-on-one type of thing, and
yeah,
it's not like in my situation. I mean, for every class that you take at our school, it's like you go in there and then you sit down, you bring your stuff. Sometimes you're late, sometimes you're not, and then the teacher's like hustling, bustling, getting things ready, and then you sit down and draw, and then attention's divided, and then you hope to get something out of it, hope to get a review here and there, and then you go back home. It just doesn't feel very personal.
Yeah, it can be, but at the same time, there are advantages. So there are disadvantages
Yeah.
and advantages. If I was a millionaire, would I do it? Well, if I was, probably not. I wouldn't go to school. But I could imagine some people who, if you have the money, why not?
Yeah, you want to
Um,
learn, right?
I had a friend. Okay, so when I say no names are gonna be revealed. However, I had a friend who just went to school looking for a girl because it's an environment where you get to spend time with a person for a long period of time, and then you know
Hmm.
it's going to school. I mean, it's easier than online because um, you get to know a person longer. So it's a lot of relationships can be formed in school, not just
Yeah.
relationships like romantic relationships, but you can also find Bob Meatbag. He's he's in
Find
school.
it. Find yourself a Bobby bag.
Find yourself a Bob Meatbag, indeed.
Yeah, I found myself a Bobby bag, but
You
his name
did,
was yeah, his name wasn't Bob Me back though. His name was Leo.
Leo, Leo Meatbag.
I'd say him. I found some posing shoes.
Po Sing Chu.
Found
Man, that's
myself
one of
some
those names.
posing shoe. Po
Po
like Po
Sing
from Kung Fu
Chu.
Panda.
Like
Uh,
that's what you do when you put gum in your mouth and you pose for the camera. You posing chew. That's stupid. Okay.
posing. I'm gonna tell him that.
That doesn't count.
I'm gonna tell him that. So yeah,
Oh,
you
he's a
do
real
need.
person. Oh, you talked to him. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
no, I didn't say that. I said no,
no, I'll
Jet.
tell him. I'll tell him.
What I meant to say was this. Po Sang Cho is the best name I've had all day.
No, yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, the thing is, you meet some good people. You do. You meet some good people. Um, and
Yeah.
but that's it can also be said that you can meet people other ways as well.
Yeah, because I didn't meet you at school, Jet.
No, matter of fact, as most I said this a lot of times, my strongest relationships are actually not really from the ones I met from school. Like I don't, not to say that they're not good. Like the one like Leo and Poe, they're awesome people. I love them. They're great. Um, it's just I don't talk to them every day like I do with you guys, kind of, on a daily kind of basis. We stay in contact. So that's weird. You can find a good relationship
That's true. That's
all
true.
kinds of different ways. Okay. See what are people saying?
Okay, so people are saying in Mexico. So Infinite Lotus says here in Mexico, Monterrey, more exact, there are only 3 or 4 schools, but one school has more prestige that the other than I guess he means than the others, but it is on the field of science. But animation is on that. Okay, that the others, but is on the field that science, but animation is on that campus. So I think to use the lever of the prestige of the school, technical school for animation. The thing is, prestige is nice for some jobs. I think for lawyers that matters a lot. I went to Harvard. I went to, you know,
Yeah.
wherever, but the Academy of Lawyers. Anyway, but in art, prestige is your portfolio. Like people open your portfolio, if your work is good, that's your prestige.
Yeah.
Not so much what school you went to, for the most part. Like it is easier to get into certain places because you have connections, but you still got to be good. And if I would say if there are 2 people and they're equal level, and one went to a prestigious school and one didn't, the guy who went to the prestigious school might have I would say they have an advantage because they probably have networking. They can say, I went to this school, and maybe someone who's hired, maybe the art director is like, oh yeah, I went to that school too. Okay. However, if the person who went to the school is not as good and someone who didn't go to school is better, they're gonna be better. It's like it doesn't matter that you're prestigious.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, And shoot, I forgot. Oh, and also I forgot to mention this is another thing. Kids. I mean, a lot of prestigious schools, the really prestigious ones, they're really good ones with the top-notch students. Um, it requires portfolios. It requires
Yeah.
portfolios.
Yeah.
That weeds out a lot of issues. That actually makes a lot of things that I talked about last episode not doesn't really apply as much to them because these are kids who fought to get in. The school that I actually went to didn't require any portfolios.
Oh, it didn't.
No, and that was
Your
why
school didn't. Wow. Even my school required portfolios. They didn't
okay,
mean
let's.
anything, but wow.
So
No
yeah, you
portfolio.
you said okay. I'm gonna show the works now. Take a break from
Okay.
this.
Okay. Oh,
Uh,
real quick. B. Nevis asks, "Is John still coming?"
no, no, no. Sorry. Ignore the title. It's
Hmm.
not. John's not coming because he's got
He
family.
stopped coming a while ago. Like we were worried if he would stop coming, but he eventually stopped. Okay.
Anyways, um, yeah. Meaning he didn't get here. He didn't
He didn't
arrive.
get here.
Oh, shoot. Shoot. So, you saw these works that I'm about to show. Whoa. I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. I was like, what's in it? Give me 2 seconds. Anybody say anything else? Just like really quickly.
Um, People who went to art school and they see that I have the same job as them without art school, well, they hate me. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's a good one. I think that would have been great for yeah if if John was here. I didn't think about that, but
Yeah, because John didn't go to art school.
yeah, and then a lot of really um prolific artists right now that you know of didn't go to art school. A lot of people were self-taught. Like a lot of people, right? Like was for example like Dave Raposa was he
Yeah, yeah, he was self-taught.
self-taught? Blue Flay self-taught, right?
I think so. I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
sure
so.
about Blue Flame. I think so, though. I
Um,
know I was self-taught until I was 26, so
mhm.
and
And
I was
there's
already working professionally before I went to school. So there's that.
yeah, okay. So a lot Art Germ, was he self-taught? Did he teach himself?
No, he went to school for graphic design,
Okay, but he's an
but
illustrator.
yeah, exactly. So but that's the one thing. See, I've heard a lot of stories when because I've done interviews and talked to a lot of artists, and the ones that do really well are they all took graphic design, not necessarily like fine arts or illustration or anything. And I think it's because graphic design teaches you how to compose elements on a page, and if you can do that well, your work's going to look better, even if it's not maybe not as good in terms of anatomy or perspective or anything. Um, if you got good design, like Ross, he's got awesome design.
Oh,
Uh,
he's great.
you Ross Tran,
Mhm.
for those who don't know. He's got a very good design sense. Um, and yeah, people like that, man, you go really far. So,
Here's
uh,
here's something I discovered, like not discovered, I know. The schools like Cal Arts, I think it was Cal Arts, was created by Disney himself, right?
I think so, something like that.
He needed animators for his animation studio, and
Yeah,
he was a he's a billionaire, and he's just like, hey, we need more. We need to pretty much manufacture our animation. We need to streamline this into like almost like a car factory, and so he created the school to cultivate these animators, artists, background, everything, just everything he needed for his cartoons. But then if you think about it, once those positions were filled in the school, it's like he's good to go. If you look at that on a small sense, a small scale, people who start up their own companies, they need a certain amount of artists, and they build their own kind of company, and then once they amass a certain amount of artists, then they're good. They don't need any other for the most part. Of course, they always pull in new artists here and there, but for the most part, it's like they build what they need, and they're good to go. So like in in that sense, people, do you know where I'm getting with this? Like
I thought I did, but then you kind of lost me.
the thing about it is like they maybe I should just stop and think about it. Because I had it earlier.
Well, you can think about it and
I
have
was
some
gonna
cereal.
have some cereal. No, the schools. Okay, no, I feel like yeah. Okay. So okay, the schools that you see now are trying to capitalize on this, and they're trying to form these artists for the industry and fit kind of a position within the industry that are pretty much full. You know what I mean? You can try to train.
I get what you're talking
You know what I
about.
mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to develop these skills in a way, like the skills streamline so that you can go
Yeah.
in and fit a position. But it doesn't work that way. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't work that way in these companies because the companies will find you. Like if you're good, I'm gonna find Joe Mad, for example. Let him design the characters, or or like just really famous artists that are available out there. If they wanted somebody to be like a head designer, they'll go to them. They'll find them and say, hey, are these
Yeah.
guys available? It's not like hey, let's go to this art school and then have them be our concept artists for our feature length film for our, you know what I mean, for our
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It Students tend to go the other way, like we were talking about in the video. They tend to try to fit position. They try to fit mold. And if they can't, which they most likely won't, then they make their own IPs. They make their own kind of personal projects, and then the ones that do successfully create their own projects, what they then do is they can build their own company and then hire the people that they need, and it just repeats the cycle. So the
Yeah.
schooling system doesn't really work in the way that it's trying to work. You know.
Yeah, I think that's probably true for a lot of different things, not just art, where it's kind of depends on what you've done. Like if you had a business school and a bunch of people graduating from it, and then there's some guy who's got a lot of money and he wants to invest in a business, he's not going to invest in, oh, you're a student from that school. He's going to invest in the business that's already made.
Hmm.
And the one that's getting a lot of customers, he'll go to them and be like, okay, well, you've got a good business. I want to buy it or whatever it is, or invest in it. And it's like that with art. Like if you're good, it'll show up in your work, not in your, well, I went to this school. That doesn't tell you that you're good or not.
Yes. And I say this because I was thinking about it. How did I get my jobs? And how did I end up where I was now? And it's the same for a lot of other artists. And I was like, I think I think a lot of people are wondering like what kind of jobs do I get and how did I get my job? You know, the thing. And I'll tell you, it started off me not being able to find a job the way I expected it to. Fill out your application, send them your resume, send them your portfolio. I show them my industry level standard work, quote unquote, and then hope to be a concept artist or whatever in their jobs. And it didn't work that way. I couldn't get a job. 50 different studios couldn't fill my position because they just couldn't, whatever, one way or another. Didn't meet their standard, or I don't know what it was, but you know I didn't. So what I did was I just started focusing on myself, working on my own art. And then one after another, I started getting more work. So I did one character. Matter of fact, was a character before before art school. It was just a random drawing, and I did about 3 years before art school. One guy said, "Hey, can you do this character in that style that you did?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I did that a long time ago. I was like a newbie. Can you do that character?" I was like, "Okay, sure." And then it was just like a private commission kind of thing. But then I ended up doing like I don't know, like over
You probably
700.
have that, right? Like
Yeah,
you could show that the one you're
I just
talking
wish I
about.
prepared that. Yeah, okay. I
Oh,
wish I
okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted
no,
to
no, no.
I
I
wanted to
put you on
streamline.
the
Well,
spot.
streamline it. Yeah, I wanted to streamline it, and I will show you guys. Yeah, like that character, and then I'll show you guys exactly what led to the next one. So from that character, he had me do commissions, and that commission was over like 100 different sketches, over like 20 different finished illustrations. Okay, those are the ones he paid for, but the sketches were all great experience. 20, 30 different finished illustrations, and from that series of work, which was not very high paying at all, but it actually helped me pay the bills. It was enough to pay, like I was enough to get by. Like I'm talking about like $304 a month, not even much. And this was before I had to start paying my loans. But because I was
Wow.
able to do that, yeah, $300, $400 a month.
For how
That's
many months to do 100 characters?
no. I mean, this is over a span of like a year or a year and a half or
Oh,
so.
okay. Okay.
So it was like $300 for an illustration. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, but that was all I had. From there, somebody noticed all the complete. It's a very complete work, and they're like, "Oh, can you do a characters for my website?" Okay, so I did that, and then okay, so from there I got this job, and then it was a bunch of anime characters for a mahjong game company, and then somebody off of YouTube. So YouTube, I built this YouTube, and from YouTube, I worked on this small game. Um, and then again, my fairies. I did a sketch in my sketchbook. This is a different one for myself. We have this big old portfolio. We just do this big old portfolio here, but all the jobs were springing from these other things. And there's a sketch from my portfolio, not portfolio, my sketchbook. Big job came out of there. I mean, huge. Like one simple character was like $300, and I had to do like 20, 30 different characters. And and now I'm starting to amass this amount of work. And from these works, I got this current job that I have now. And they saw like all the works that I had. I can. It looks like I can complete work, and they're like, "Hey, okay, how about you do some characters for a game? Some characters, some items. We'll see where you go." And from there, I was able to, I entered the industry basically, and now I'm pretty much doing what I do and love. Um, and that's how it worked in that sense. And what happened was the whole way. This is the point of the entire thing. I was not applying to anything. I wasn't applying
Hmm.
to any of these jobs. I wasn't showing them my resumes. I wasn't showing them any of my drawings. They came to find me, and they found what they needed. They like this game company is the highest paying job that I've ever had. And they came to me because they
Yeah.
needed somebody to fill their position. It wasn't like, "Oh, I just came from school. Here's look at my stuff. Take a look at it, please. Pick me, and lining up." No, they're like, they're a small company working on games. They're like, "Okay, we need an artist. Let's go find one." And I think that's the same for a lot of companies. What do you think?
Yeah, I applied to almost no company, but there was one I applied to because one of my friends got a job, or he was applying to get a job there, and I applied, and I didn't get in, and then it was a few months later, but they contacted me unrelated, like they didn't know that I had applied and that I already didn't get in, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we like your work and we want you to work on this project." And I'm like, yeah, every single job that I actually got, I didn't apply for except for one, I think. So it really is a case of they come to you if you're good enough, or if like you don't have to be good enough as in the best artist in the world. You need to be good enough as you are filling the need that they want filled. So it might be that they just want someone who's pretty good, but really delivers on time and works in a specific style, or is really easy to work with, or something like that. Um, Yeah, but
Oh, and then
go
also
ahead.
okay, from the first drawing that I first job that I got with all the characters, right, the 30 I mentioned was the character illustrations. From there I was able to get a manga job. Okay, the manga job was a manga a month. I worked on 7 different mangas. Um, really good paying job. And again, that was a job that sprung from a job that I didn't go to school for. I didn't study this, and I
Hmm.
didn't study manga. I didn't study anime, but I got paid really well. And that right there applies to people when I say like work on things that you enjoy. Work on things that like be you, meaning draw the things that you enjoy, and if you have a complete set of works relating to those things, there will be people who like that stuff as well, and they'll pay you to do it. It might not be much, but if, for example, you didn't go to school for it, it's a start, and it'll add on to more and more things, and let's just start developing. And I think that's what happened with John, right? John
Hmm.
was like in that situation. Just
Yeah,
work.
yeah. John was. Uh, he knew the right people, and he was working hard, and
Mhm.
he was doing things for himself. And
Right.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, he probably can tell it better, but
Yeah. Let's not speak for John. We
let's
will
not speak for John.
We will not breathe his name in my presence. Without his presence. Okay, so here's the works again. Let's just go
That's
over it
really bad.
quickly. This is from school. My senior year. We talked about this before.
So these are all your works, Jet?
No, no, no. These are senior level works, and I
Okay,
no, and
so when you're saying that, basically, what does it mean? How many years have these people been in school, and have they taken all the same courses? You like, what kind of courses would someone be taking already? Like, did these guys even learn perspective, or what?
by this time they would have already taken all their perspective classes, figure drawing classes, color design classes. Could be like figure modeling classes and all the other side liberal and elective classes. They only have like like 8 or 9 classes left, and they can graduate. And they've taken at least 40 or 50 different classes. I mean, not 40, 50, 40 classes. I don't want to, it just seemed like that it was like 50, but 40 classes I would say. I don't know. Total to graduate, you need about 120 or 200 units or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't want to quote the numbers exactly, but yeah, it's a lot of experience from school. Um, and I think the part that I was missing was I didn't show my work in the same class for
Hmm.
something you can compare it to. I showed you my friend's work. This is a good friend here, Andrew's work, and he's really good. Um, but I still feel like even Andrew, for the amount of talent he had, I felt like he probably didn't have to try very much. Like he's that good. He just didn't. He just does it. Like he breathes it. If you guys look at his Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, having seen these works, I would just say like, what is the school? How can the school allow these kids to get so far, and be this late in the game? Um,
Yeah. You know what my thought was when I saw this? It reminded me exactly of my school,
oh,
and people were at
definitely.
this level too. There was like, okay, let's say you have a class of 20 people. Probably three will be what you consider to be, better artists, more advanced, and then most of them are around this level for me anyway in my school. So.
Okay, yeah, okay, and then I'll show you guys my works, and then we'll talk about how it's not just the school's fault. So this is what we need. We're given a prompt or some sort of idea, and then we go home. We come up with a visual, which is like rough draft of our idea, and then we show the teacher. Okay, so if this is from my class, the same class, different visuals. Okay, let's just start with I guess Iron Giant. I guess he was the most simple one. So this is one of the rough drafts, but I didn't just give him this one. I gave him this one, and I think there was one more. But yeah, so this is my rough draft, and this is my rough draft. I've established some colors, some forms, some shapes, some lines, and that's a rough draft. And by the way, one of these isn't a rough draft actually. One of them is actually a final. This one. This is a final drawing, final illustration. Um, by the way. So there's that. Let's go through some more. Um, okay, so this is another example. This is same kind of thing. Coming to class, you need to present an idea. So say like in the same context, they'll bring something like this to work to class, and I'll bring this to class. This, this, and this, and this, and this. So I bring all these as ideas to work with. These are my rough drafts for the class. So if I'm presenting this, it's like this is for me. This is what I expect to do, like as in the industry. I feel like these are industry. I don't think these are industry level standards for sure. But you only have a week to bring in your rough drafts. So I just felt like these aren't good enough. Like I still
I
don't feel
mean,
like
that
they're good enough.
one's good. The Robot Wars with the two figures, and
I
it's
might
pretty
I
good.
might work on this one. I like that one. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say that's industry level.
Thanks. Here's another one. I came up with this one, and then I came up with this one, and then the finished one I don't have on here, but these are just rough drafts. Um, and I'm not showing any of the finished ones. Oh, for the Viking one, I do. This ain't the Viking. This is Viking, and this is two things. So this is actually Viking and Sorceress assignment. So I came up with this sorcerer idea. Okay, this is the first assignment actually in the whole entire class. Go home and do a rough draft for whatever topic you chose,
That's
and I
cool.
chose this one. And then this is like just stages. So here's a stage, here's a stage, and it came out something like this. But the robot itself is actually a 3D model, and I don't have the actual. You can actually go see that on my Facebook portfolio. But this is all modeled. Um, the buildings actually is within a 3D model as well, and I supplied like 7 different models for that. Of the Viking. Again, this is day one, so presenting some ideas for the Viking, some character exploration, and something some finish work of from that assignment. This is what I kind of finished with, which I feel like still could be strengthened. I see a lot of things wrong with it still, like at this point. But during the time, I was pretty proud of it. I was really, really happy with this one. Probably one of the most happiest. And um, yeah, so I came up with that. And okay, so that's just something to compare. And I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, as you can see, that's what I felt like. I felt like what everyone was supposed to have at that level, like at that year in time. I feel like they should be in somewhat that stage of development, but I wasn't seeing that, and it angered me because I felt like um, I don't know. I just felt the school wasn't providing. Part of me said like I was doing this on my own, basically. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's the thing. And I think that's a good segue into our topic. Students are at fault as well. So in my case, I felt like it was the school's fault at the same time the students' fault. I mean, the school at our school particularly, they allowed students in without portfolio. Of course, it's a business, so they need to make money and they need to keep the kids going for as long as they can. And by senior year, um, they'll have kids with that level, of art. I mean, this level, this is theirs, and it's the students' fault because it kind of was up to them to work hard. Like if they're just like I said, when I say like you came to class with a drawing you did in 2 minutes, this I'm not exaggerating. Like I mean maybe the person spent 5 hours on this, but in my eyes I feel 5 minutes, 5 6 minutes before class.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I have no idea. I don't.
I don't. Yeah, I
But it
don't
doesn't
know.
look like they. It looks like they could have put in more effort. Whatever they were doing, and not to mention for a fourth year, that's pretty. It's not realistic. Um,
Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I just don't feel like they really put in the effort as well in themselves. And that's another thing. If you don't put in the effort early on, you shouldn't be kicked out. You should be held back until you do, and you make the decision yourself. Okay, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I should take a different approach, as I said earlier.
mhm.
And that way, they can still make the money, but I guess they don't want to discourage the kids.
Do you think these people were using their own money for school, or were they using their parents' money
I
for
don't know.
school?
Both. I mean, all cases, because I have met some really really like rich kids too, like talking about $8,000 like allowance a month, kind of thing. I've met some kids like that. Like, what? You're
Mhm.
you're you're talking to a peasant. You know that, right? You shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
A king will be mad.
But
Like,
I think even when you're good, if you're not, because I know people who are good and they technically could, like in terms of just talent or whatever or skill, they could do fine and they've held jobs before. But the problem is they don't really apply themselves too much. And when I ask them, like, okay, so uh, there's a person in particular, and he was always like late to all his assignments. Like he would miss deadline, but it was always sort of half-assed. But he was really good. And then he got work, and then he lost work, and since then he just like when I would ask him like, "What are you up to?" He's like, "Yeah, I haven't drawn for a while, but I'm playing games." It's like, man, you're not one of those people who, well, you're missing the skills. It's more just you're missing the drive. Um,
sure.
and it seemed like when he was at work, because he was getting paid, he worked. But then when there was no pressure, he didn't work. And if you're those types of people you need pressure. Think of it this way. Fine, you'll get pressure in school if that's what you're looking for. Like, oh, I need someone to uh, beyond me to get things done. It's like, but what's going to happen when you graduate from school? No one's going to put that pressure on you,
Yeah.
and um, so then what? And I feel like sometimes, not for everyone, obviously not for everyone, but a lot of times people who go into school go in because it's easier to not have to be that responsible. Like, okay, so I paid all this money to go to the school, and now it's up to the school to teach me. I did my part. I'm showing up. I'm the student, and now it's up to the school. And then afterwards, it's like, and even during class, it's like, okay, teachers give me assignments. It's my job to get this assignment done. And who are you comparing to? You're comparing to other students. So if you're in a really good school and everyone's super good, yeah, you're probably going to get good. But if you're in a school like with the one I went to, they did check portfolios, but everyone got in. Everyone who could afford it got in, and I
Ah,
found that out after the fact. Um,
ah,
but they did look at portfolios, and I was freaking out when they were looking at my portfolio. But again, I was still working, so I thought like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get in. Like I should get in. Um, but I was still thinking like, wait, am I as good as I think I am? Maybe I'm not that good. Uh, but then I found out like, wow, the standard is really low. Like, oh,
same.
you got in
Yeah.
too. Oh, you got a scholarship too. Wow. Okay. Um, and then yeah, it's this case of like if you need. I mean, sorry, no, comparing. Like if you're comparing to other students, that's not who you need to be comparing to. You need to
Oh,
look at
yes, yes. No, go ahead.
uh, I was just gonna say you need to look at those artists the artists you look at their work and like, oh, I really like the art in Kung Fu Panda or something. Let's just say as an example, I really like the art in Kung Fu Panda. I want to do something like that. And then you go to school and it's like, okay, so they're gonna teach me how to draw like Kung Fu Panda. No, they're not. Because the thing is, if the teacher was able to teach you how to draw that well, they wouldn't be teaching in a school. Like, you got to understand, they would get paid so much more to just be hired by DreamWorks or whatever. They they're probably not the person who's capable of doing that. And so, no, if you want to be that good, you put that person's work up and you study that, and that's your target, not the other students. Because if you're just looking at the assignments, like, yeah, okay, so I'm a student, and a lot of people do this even when they graduate. They say, like, I'm a student, I just graduated, can you give me help finding work? Here's my portfolio. And it looks like a student portfolio. No one's going to really cut you any slack. Like, oh, you're a student, of course, so I'm going to pay. Like, the people who will hire you are going to be people who pay much less. That's just the way it works. And you might get paid $20 for a week's worth work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rasputin says you don't agree with Sycra. What don't you agree with?
Hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, you write down what you don't agree with, and I'm gonna respond to that. And we were talking about earlier, teachers will tell me in my class anyway. You're not competing with each other. You're competing with me. So we had some amazing teachers too, but we also had some not so good teachers. And I'm talking about teachers who, this is what I mean by not so good. I've had a teacher who barely had any experience in the industry, but he was teaching character design to me, and he did not know what he was talking about. Today, he's the head of the game department, but he's never worked on a video game. So he's teaching in the game department. But he's the head of the video game department, but he's never worked in the video game industry. How does that even make sense? You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's so when I say not very good, I'm talking about like even in terms of experience, not like I don't like his work or anything like that. I'm talking about people with like little to no experience at all will fill positions that they just need. Like, okay, just throw them some assignments, and that's how I felt like some of these things where it's like, okay, you're teaching me how to draw character illustrations, but you've never illustrated for anything. You've never designed anything for anything. It's your own kind of concept of what you think a character designer would be, or a concept artist would be. And that's not all the cases, for sure. There have been, the people who were in industry. For example, we've had Pixar teachers from Pixar and DreamWorks and all these other companies who work both at the company at the same time as teach. So we had teachers of all different ranges. And if you did your research, you'll know who to go for. Yeah. Sometimes you really have no idea, and just like I said, oh, character illustration, character design. Yeah, I'll take that class. Sounds good. Okay, but yeah.
I'm about to rant, so we better.
Okay, yeah, that was
take over before I start ranting.
No, rant, please.
Okay, so Madeline Stalnick, I don't know if you're watching this or if you left already, because she says, this sounds like some real elitist talk. I don't know, I'm out, yo. Okay, this word elitist gets thrown around like it's a bad word. Guess what? Artists are elite. If you're not, what do? Go to a fucking, NBA player and oh, yeah, you're an elitist because you're the best at playing basketball. No shit, that's why they pay me. An elite just means you're at the top level of whatever the fuck you do. So, yes, it's an elitist. It's not to say, oh, you think some people are better than others at that job. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're better inherently. It doesn't mean oh, I was born a nobleman and you're just a commoner, so I shan't associate with you. It's not like that. But if it's oh, this person has 20 years of experience and this guy has none, and then you say, well, the guy with 20 years of experience, he's an elite, so I'm just going to go with the guy with no experience. Good luck. See what happens. What the fuck? When did elite well, I know elite, I don't know when it did, but it's recent that this has become such a bad word. Are you kidding me? Fucking elite. Oh, I'm elite. I'm good at what I do. That's who you want to hire. Yes, artists are elitist, not elitist in that, oh, yeah, they think they're better than everyone, but they're elites. That's why people pay them. You know who's not elite? The people who don't get fucking paid. There you go. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Uh,
and no, that's perfect too. And the thing is, I were they calling us elitists?
I don't know.
Who were they saying was this is fucking elitist? The school's elitist or?
No, they said this is elitist talk and they're gonna leave.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So if this is elitist talk, fine, leave. That's fine. I honestly felt like it wasn't, and I feel like in terms of the things that I feel like that affected me and made me teach in art was the fact that I felt like I was being left out, and I felt like the quote unquote elite were leaving me out. So I decided, hey, how about I just do my own thing and teach people and give back to the people in my downtime and just try to teach them the things that I know, so that they can try to save a headache or two, like just give them another option and let them know, and learn things. And that's what I was trying to do, and I didn't think I was doing anything elitist. Um, but if it came across elitist, I mean, like Sycra said, yeah, in the end, uh, we're just stating facts. And if you want a job, you got to be good at drawing. I mean, last time I checked, that was the case. That's why I couldn't get work for a good 2 3 years, um, like real work.
Yeah, I think that the difference is like there are situations where you can't change your condition. Like, let's say someone's racist, right? And it's like, oh yeah, these people are terrible because they're like brown people are horrible. I think that's a horrible attitude because that person, it doesn't matter. First of all, that doesn't make any sense. But let's just say fine, they are. Well, that person can't do anything about it, right? So it's like, what gender you are, what race you are. Although you can probably now, gender is very fluid, um, but when it comes to hard work, yeah, you can do something about that, you know? So it's like, well, because Jet, the thing I like about Jet, and he motivates me so much, is that you saw it in the classwork he did. Like, he won't just do one thing. If the assignment is fine, draw this one picture. He won't. He'll do a ton of them. He's always going above and beyond. And it's that kind of attitude that makes you good, not because you were good to begin with, but just because you do more work than the next person. And um, I don't know. I want to be very encouraging to people to like, you can do it. You can become an artist. Like, this is not something where if someone tells you, oh, you can't do this, or oh, because people told me that too, like, oh, you're never gonna be able to do this, and
Yeah,
it's like,
no.
that's not the point. But at the same time, the opposite isn't true as well. Like, where, oh, anybody can do it. It's not anybody can do it, and it's not nobody can do it. It's that if you put in the work and you're really dedicated and you have a passion, then yeah, you can do it. But
There
you
you
got
go.
to do those things.
There you go. That's why I always say you can be great if you put in the work. You can't be great and just be great. You will be great. That's like that's just like fortune telling. You actually have to put in some work. And I think that anybody can be great if that's what I mean. It just requires that work, a lot of work. And I've seen it before. I've seen people progress in a way and actually reach the top, go from nothing to amazing stuff. Like I need to one day show you guys the work that I start off with, like the work that looks like any like average or beginner that from DeviantArt. Like I will show you that in another show. And you'll see the progression. It's not like I started off with this ability. I didn't. Like when I came out of my mom, I was I could barely draw a circle or a face. They probably looked like they didn't even know, they didn't have a concept of I didn't know what a face was. You know, it just it was work. It was hard work over time. And my point really is to show you guys just just my experience, and you guys can take away from it. Or I mean, both of us. You make your own decision in the end. You make
Yeah.
your own decision. Did you have any other concepts written down, ideas?
Um,
Should we
no, I
continue?
think I think we. Oh, the one last thing. I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of related to my rant, but it was just this idea of positive and negative attitudes, where um,
Hmm.
we're always. It's very common right now to talk about positivity and like,
Hmm.
oh, we should all be positive. And I think that's nice that everyone wants to pat everybody on the back and say, we're all this is all good, and let's not say anything bad. But there is a difference between that and just tolerating things you really shouldn't. Because tolerating everything, like tolerance is good, right? Well, kind of. It's good if it's a good thing. For instance, if I tolerate, first of all, tolerate isn't even accept. It's just you're tolerating. You're not you're putting up with it. I can tolerate.
I don't put up with milk.
Yeah, yeah, you're intolerant to milk. But you can tolerate a lot of things that are, again, gender. A person, maybe it's like, I don't like Indian people. Okay, well, learn to tolerate them and maybe analyze why you think that way and whatever. But you can also tolerate things that aren't good. You can tolerate the train never gets here on time. You can tolerate the roads are always busted up. You can tolerate things that aren't good for you. And I'm in Romania. They're very good at this, tolerating things that need to be fixed. It's like, oh yeah, this place sucks. Okay, should we fix it? No, no. Let's just talk about how it sucks. No, okay. Um, and things like in art school, I would get upset because I was paying a lot of money, and it was like I was paying for my time in art school,
Yeah.
and uh, in my class they didn't have like the equipment kept failing, and we were always the last to get the equipment because I was in a 2D animation program, and the money really went to the 3D animation program. But there were times when like our scanners didn't work, and it's like this is like we need the scanner to scan in our stuff because otherwise we can't line test it and then we can't color it and stuff. But when I brought it up, like the school should be doing more, it was almost this feeling of you shouldn't talk about that. That's not nice. And we had this monthly review, and I would write like, yeah, this is good, this is fine, but this is a problem. This needs to be dealt with. And other people would just write like, oh, everything's great, and it's like, but it's not great. Everything's not great. You can still get better. And I got told like, oh, you're being negative. No, pointing out a problem is not negative. That's aiming for a positive because you want change, which is positive. You want a positive change. So it's like, oh, I think the pipes should be fixed, and I'm going to fix the pipes. That is positive. It's not, I think the pipes need to be fixed. Ah, oh, you're a hater. Why are you hating on sludge and rust? You know, why are you hating? Sludge has as much right to be in the water as you do. Sure, it's going to melt your skin off, but what? Are you hating your bones? Don't you want to see your bones?
Why are you hating your bones? Sycra, why are you hating on the scanner? Those broken scanners need love too.
Yeah, broken scanners need all the love they can get. We need to encourage them, not put them down, and certainly not replace them with scanners that work.
Uh, oh man. Shout outs to Peter, my buddy, personal friend. Not an artist, but just a good friend of ours, mine. Thanks for joining, buddy. Thanks everyone for joining. Um,
Yeah, thanks for hearing us whine and rant.
my rant. Um, we this was supposed to be an hour show. I started around 10. I mean 9:10.
Oh,
I think that's
yeah, we
much,
reached it.
didn't wait. Let's. let's call it a show. I wanted to do like, well, we have all kinds of shows ahead of us. And that'll be a morning show again, or out late evening show, whatever happens. But I think that was enough to take in for one day. Um, yeah. Any last words?
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody.
Mm, don't be
That's
sorry.
it. That's it.
All right, don't worry. Valerie How much wants a hug.
Um,
Clueless girl 47. You came late. Oh, don't worry. Join us in next time. We'll be around. Fuzzy Buddy says, Jet, Sycra, love you both. Art more. Art, you too, man. Love you too, brother. Thanks, buddy. Sudaras, I'm gonna go through some of the names and then we'll call it a day, okay? Um, Peter says you say I can't draw. Yeah, you can draw. I know you can. Okay, really quick. Valerie Abdrugo, Drag, Raz, Half, Monochrome, John H. Coolest Girl, Furin, and Van Boo, 432 Heck, Bunnies at Home, LP Matty Suter, and everybody else. Great blood. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for joining the show. Thanks, Flavia, for joining the show. And thanks to cats. Thanks to the cats. And also, as always, take care and Sycra, take it away, man.
Peace.